How you guys doing? My name is Corey Tucker. I'm here with Jaron. He's an outdoor skills specialist with the Ohio Division of Wildlife. Today we're talking about hunting, like what's in your bag. Now, I'm a very beginner hunter. So when you go out preparing for a hunt, tell me what you keep in your bag.
So for deer hunting specifically, I keep all my stuff in a fanny pack.
Okay.
So I'll just go through it and unpack it and what I have in here. So the first thing that I'm gonna be looking for in it is my release. So I shoot a compound bow. This is what you clip onto the string to make for consistent releases. Some paper towels or napkins. You never know when you might need those for a variety of things. This is my rangefinder. Especially when you're archery hunting, this is extremely important. You gotta know whether the deer's 10, 20, 30, 40 yards out there so you can adjust your shot because arrow drops so quickly. You gotta know that specific range. Little set of binoculars that sits nicely in my pack. Not the big bulky ones. If I was gonna do a lot of glassing or using my binoculars, I'd have a bigger set, but for my pack that's conveniently with me, this set works great. Always important to have your license, tags, permission slips, and all that good stuff with you. Now, a few other things I'll pull out of here specifically. You need a pen to fill out your tag, but a zip tie is probably my favorite thing to attach the deer tag to the deer once you have it filled out.
Okay.
And then these things are really nice. Waterproof plastic case, and take a look at that. It's got a zipper on the top, so you know it can't get your license or your tags wet. And then lastly, I have a permission slip in here and an extra light. I have another light that I use primary, and then a knife to field dress the deer when we're in the field.
So that's all goes in your bag and you wear it as a fanny pack as you're out on the hunt.
I do. I know that I have everything in that ready to go. So let's just clip that on my waist, get my bow, make sure I have arrows, and everything else is ready to go. Now I showed you one release, that's my primary one. I keep a backup in there too, in case that one breaks or I happen to lose it or forget to put it back in here when I'm practicing in the backyard.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
There's more in there.
There's a lot of stuff packed in here. So late season, it gets cold out there. So hand warmers or body warmers are always great. And then calls. Now calls are, they can be helpful when you're deer hunting. So I always keep a grunt call with me, and I actually have another grunt call in here and a can call. So this is what makes, this is the sound a doe makes.
Let's hear it.
So here we go. Especially during the rut, this can be the ultimate thing that brings that big buck in that you're chasing. Just a few more things that I keep in my side pocket are windicator. So this is just powder in a little squeeze bottle. So you can give that a little squeeze. I hope you can see it.
Yep.
There's powder coming out, it tells us the wind direction. And then my primary light. I don't like to walk into the woods with too bright of a light early in the morning. It's usually dark if you're walking in the morning. So I can clip this on my hat, and it's really low light. So I can see what's around me, but I'm not gonna spook game that may be out in the field. Yeah, and then a few other things that are important depending on the style of hunting you're doing. Shooting sticks, if you're gun hunting or have a crossbow, this can give you that rock solid rest. Put the front end of it here. And you've got a stool there in front of you.
Okay.
That's always good to have a comfy seat. Hand sanitizer. Yeah, you never know when you might need that. And a few other optional things there. That is scent killer. So scent is a huge thing to consider when you're deer hunting. Deer have great noses. That helps eliminate the scent on your body. The most important part to spray and consider are your boots, because everywhere you walk, you're gonna leave a scent trail. And if you walk here and then a deer walks where you walked, there's a good chance it's gonna smell you and be going the other way. Last few things we have on the table are a deer drag. So after a good successful hunt, we'll be ready to drag that deer out. And again, after a successful hunt, we have some field dressing gloves there. Always a good idea to wear gloves when field dressing deer. There's blood involved, so keeping that off of your skin is always a good idea.
So you talked about, making sure you have your license with you and all that other good stuff. Where can I grab a hunting license at?
You can get them at any vendor that sells them within the state of Ohio. A lot of times they advertise on the front window that they sell hunting licenses or fishing licenses there. Or if you have a smartphone, you can buy it online and download the Hunt Fish Ohio app, and that'll give you easy access to all kinds of information pertaining to hunting seasons and where to go hunting.
So now we got all this equipment out and we've learned about it. What are some strategies to hunt deer?
There are several options when it comes to the strategies. First being spot and stalk. Not real common in my tool bag, but I know some people have good success with it. That's as the name implies. You're dressed in camo head to toe. You see a deer or you're walking real slowly looking for deer. Once you see them, the stalk's on and you hopefully get a shot off. The other option would be hunting from a tree stand, where usually you have one in the woods or you take a climber with you.
Okay.
So hunting in an elevated tree stand's a great way because the deer can't see you up there. So the last way would be sitting on the ground. So you take your stool, your shooting sticks, you're just waiting for the deer to show up and hopefully be within range to get a shot off at them.
And not be in scent of that deer, right?
Right. That's the key. You got to be mindful of the wind direction. Yeah. So if we expect the deer to come right out in front of us here, we want the wind blowing in our face. That way the deer doesn't smell us.
So we've covered what's in the bag. We've covered some strategies. So are we gonna shoot a deer with the scent killer, or what are we gonna do? What are we gonna use to hunt deer with?
You wanna see some hunting implements?
You know I do.
All right, let's get them out here.
Right. Now here are the tools that help us hunt. What do we have here, Jaron?
We'll start with the compound bow right down here on the end. So this is the bow I use when I'm hunting, and we talked about the release earlier. Here's where it makes sense, and you can see where it clips onto this little string loop, and that's what I use to pull back the bow, and then it's got a trigger, just like a gun, to make it go off. Now conveniently on here, I got my quiver that's easily removable, and all these arrows on here have broadheads on them, so I'm ready to hunt with them. And it's always a good idea to take multiple in the event you miss or need to make a second shot.
But you never miss.
Never
Right?
miss. No, that's what we practice for, right?
Well, Jaron, man, what's a broadhead?
So there's a lot of tips we can put on the end of an arrow. The most common for practicing is called a field point. So that's just a blunt or slightly sharpened point without any fins or blades on it. Now when it comes to hunting deer, it's the broadhead that is what we want to use, and it's got anywhere from 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 blades. So there's a couple different types, and this one is called a fixed blade broadhead. It's got 3 blades there. They're fixed in place and they don't actually move. Now the other style that we have on this arrow is a mechanical broadhead, and it's got 3, but notice that they're in a different formation or pattern when that. So look at that. And when this one impacts the target, they open up just like that. So it's got 3 petals that'll come out. And the purpose for using broadheads for deer hunting is to quickly and ethically harvest that deer so it doesn't have to suffer.
Well, that makes sense.
And you want them razor sharp. That way they can do their thing and zip right through the animal to ethically and humanely harvest it.
So how do you protect yourself when you put on a broadhead?
There's a thing called a broadhead wrench. So you want to use a broadhead wrench if you have one included with your broadheads. If you don't, you can wrap that with cloth or old shirt or something like that to protect your hand from getting cut when you wrap it on there. My bow case actually has spots in the top of it to where I can tighten a broadhead onto my arrow using that. The next hunting implement is a crossbow. It is pretty straightforward. It's got a nice stock on it, so you cock it back. It's got a working safety back here and even a scope to make it that much easier to acquire your target.
Now, one of the questions that I have is, when you're shooting, your safety can make noise. Is this a silent safety, or how does that work?
Let's see if you can hear it.
Barely
There's
audible.
a little noise. I think a deer would hear that though.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. When you click the safety off on either a crossbow or a gun, you want to hold it on both sides and ease it forward.
Okay.
It was a little bit quieter that time. Now, different than a compound bow, I mentioned we have to cock this to get it in the fire position. This string here clips onto the string, you put it on the ground and you're able to pull back the bowstring using this and it lightens the load.
Got it.
Always a good idea to use these. Again, in our quiver we have plenty of arrows equipped with broadheads ready to hunt. Now, in addition to these two bows, there's also a longbow or recurve bow. So that's like your traditional bow. That's just a straight piece of wood or slightly curved, and you're shooting a more primitive hunting implement then. And then lastly,
shotgun.
We got a shotgun here, yes. So this is a 20 gauge. It's got iron sights on it. Again, it's got a nice working safety. Let's hear how quiet this one is.
Ooh, that was pretty loud.
That'll get a deer's attention real quick. So again, you can ease it on and off to keep the deer from alerting on you. And we got the appropriate ammunition here. With deer hunting, that's a single projectile. It's illegal to use multiple shot or buckshot in a shell. So these are sabot slugs that are equipped for this barrel.
Now, you talked about legalities.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the rules and regulations as it comes to hunting?
There's quite a few rules that come, especially with deer hunting. So it's important to read the hunting regulation booklet every year. That way you know what hunting implements are legal, season dates, bag limits by county because they do change, and everything else that pertains to the seasons, not only archery season, but firearm season as well.
So you should be reading this because the legalities can change year after year.
They do, yeah.
Okay.
They could change every year, so you want to be on the up and up and be up to date.
Well, Jaron, thank you for sharing what's in your bag. For more information, visit wildohio.gov.